boring. Do you guys have any preference on where we stand when we come and have our interview sections?
To me, it seems a little awkward for me to stand up from the chair and come stand here.
Do you have wireless mics?
So, fellas,
We do not.
yeah, right.
That'd be nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, it would.
But here we are. That'd be nice if our monitors weren't blowing here.
And actually, this month is our 1 year anniversary of doing this.
Got it. Well, after this one, there won't be any more.
I won't be doing more.
This is also a finale.
Ladies and gentlemen, the budget killers. Well, I mean, the three of us have mics, so it doesn't kind of matter where we are. And Mike has no mic, periodically.
Mike is Mike.
Oh, shucks.
He's Mike the Mikeless.
Yeah. I guess I don't care personally. As long as we can see and hear you, I think that's the main thing. I mean, you could slide a little here and talk into this mic, I guess. Well, Brandon, I'm glad you're here.
We'll just kind of go back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay. How's my nothing to say?
We're going to be asking you questions, all of you.
Well, do you have a mic you can pass on to Mike?
All over.
I'm not getting one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. Hello. Anywhere. More people than you're going to get very Or Brandon, you're tall. Okay, so actually, Brandon, I think if you'll go up there, since you're taller, if you'll go up there by Mike so the way he can answer.
Right, segregate the tall people.
Guess who gets together, Mike?
Get a rise of
That's what I'm
them.
good at.
Until recently, I was both the youngest and the shortest.
You're still the youngest.
I'm still the youngest.
You know, I like this. I can do
Does
this.
that work?
It's not the years.
Because then I could be right here. And so then it's not awkward.
Okay.
We can certainly hear you from where you are.
Oh yeah, I know how to project.
This is good. Okay. Great. That's all I need.
So I could be right here and then, okay. Because I could always grab that microphone and you can keep that one. If you want to interject.
I'll Richie. If you feel like you can take some pictures, kind of handy later on. I know you're good at it. Put those jazz glasses to work.
Okay, fair point. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That works. Or then I'll just hold this one and you let me interject. Hey, could you hold on just 1 second? We're going to test our microphones now. Your sound is far more important because, like you said, you can hear me even if I'm not.
Not as clear. Like check. Check 1, 2.
All right, I'm talking. This is me talking, and I'm going to ask a lot of questions. Everybody's going to talk like this, and then I'll probably start laughing like this. All right, good. I have to spike it because otherwise, because I've got a loud
I
laugh.
get it. You should meet my wife.
I have met your
Doors
wife.
down. she's amused. It's pretty
It's
intense.
good. Good what she is.
It's a good quality.
All right, so we've got
Hello.
about 5 more minutes, and we may hold. I'm gonna just
Yeah.
when I have the microphone, just there. We may hold for another little while. Just because I know we have some people who will be late. I'm not necessarily going to hold for them, but my husband being one of them, and our boss being the other.
Ruthie, is she
Yeah.
coming along?
She is coming. She's going to Maggie Growl's over at the relocation,
All right.
and then she's coming over here, and so she's going to be.
Yeah,
a few
Jim
minutes
Gray's doing something tonight too, and that's sucked away certain
yeah.
politically left of center people.
Well, the good thing with
Well, they
this
can
is
be
that
that
it's
far
a.
left, vote for Jim Gray, but anyway. Ha!
Well, the good thing is it's a recorded event, so even if we have
Right.
nobody, which we already have people, be really enthusiastic.
Well,
You sound like a cast of thousands.
well, we don't need any.
It's like a biblical epic.
Really, we don't.
I think we cast a thousand. Except for the award for best cast a thousand.
Long as it doesn't wax.
Jody
The band I was in
This
some
is
years ago, we played on
Christmas.
Red Barn Radio, and it was like a god-awful snowy day. It was like being sold.
Man in third row, man. They play
Listen to the radio podcast, so-
A whole lot more, yeah.
Plotting, hatred.
Limping old hag. Trying to do that also.
Can't go.
They're all local these days, like, you don't go on these extended trips anymore. So they're pure decision stuff.
Mike.
It lasted a couple years after.
You said?
We've done all about together.
Congratulations on the end of the semester.
You've got enough work in this area.
I just finished my last paper.
Professional. See, look, now I'm professional.
It was almost masked by the hopping of the cork, but it
Oh, wait.
Yeah, really.
Now I've got a chair.
Oh, all right.
She's in there.
All right then.
You got the insurance.
Then make that a nice running gag. What do you think, Cece?
12, 15 years. Traveling all over the United States.
Just put her on the speaker. Or like, not, well, I think maybe on the pole.
Other than that, you pay him around.
Right.
Who is that?
That is Cece. Unfortunately, she has to work her other job tonight,
Okay.
unexpectedly.
So she's here in spirit.
So she's here in spirit.
You're gonna burn that later, or
Hopefully not.
in effigy?
So we're gonna get her opinions later.
Burning CC. Effigy.
Notice how I thought to do that this time? Tune back up.
We appreciate it. He tunes the kids. I tune because you care. That's what I tell myself. I don't think it's true. Lucas, do you have everything you need?
Yeah, there you
So that's one of your ambient mics. The other one's over there.
go. Yeah,
Are you still doing the video or?
I am running video, yeah.
I thought I got that dental work done.
Oh, yeah, so to say I'm glad I didn't waste a shower.
Interesting concept.
Yeah, we got those speakers that can smell, so I'm glad that he did the shower.
The synesthesia 5,000.
Oh, trust me, if I had, yeah, you could see it, off there, crappy camera.
While he was
Oh,
here.
no, that's all right.
Okay.
I
want to sit back, Coronavirus. What's that? I want to sit back, Coronavirus.
It was some movies.
Over and over again.
All right,
But
well,
not in that order.
I think we're gonna go ahead and get started.
You
You
can
guys,
drag it
it's
on.
like right at, I know, this
Are we in
is,
trouble?
I am being professional now. This is my professional look, but I still got the nerd represent.
I left all that stuff across the street.
The way that we're going to do this is we're going to have not necessarily any audience participation, but we do want to encourage you to laugh, cheer, heckle within reason. We decided that
Sing along when appropriate.
Engage in debate.
yes, and well, I mean, if we get something wrong, which we do, let us know.
Seats.
Do what?
I said, get up off your seats and dance.
Yes, please
Dance in the
participate.
aisles.
This is supposed to be a lot of fun.
I want to recreate that
Don't
scene
look
in Blues
in.
Brothers. right there.
Yes, yes. So we're going to have a very brief introduction. Well, you guys probably all know the only bathroom is through that way, so be very careful when you're going through here. Although if you go to the bathroom during the podcast, we will call you out on it. Just letting you know that.
We will name you on.
My name.
My name, really?
Also,
Really?
Now or forever hold.
And we're
Bladder
gonna,
shaming.
we're taking your library. Sorry.
Yeah, well, no, we won't take your library card, but we might, charge you like a bathroom fee or something, 10 cents, something like
Can
that.
you read off the feed?
You can read off the feed. You can read off the feed, it'll be all right. Or you can, like, on Facebook or something. Also, feel free to go live or take pictures and post them. You can tag the library in them, or at the Nerd Factor Podcast, at, what is yours, at JRE Music.
If it's Instagram, it's JRA Music.
Okay, and then ours, for everything for us, it's at the Nerd Factor Podcast, I believe, is everything for us. So, let's go ahead and get started.
In your case, it's a ventrilogram or something like that. Probably quite sophisticated.
Occasional
Stand up, or we're gonna do it right here.
Slow down the realization.
So we're gonna go ahead and get started, so if you guys could just hold on for a second, we'll do a very, very brief Nerd Factor intro, which usually starts, have you already started recording? Of course, that's the way that our Nerd Factor intros start, where he just starts recording and then we pick up with whatever we were talking
We're
about.
currently mid-introduction, that's how it goes.
Yes, you might want to turn your microphone up a bit. I don't know, for out there. Or just project. This is Peter Cotton Muscles. He is our mascot for this season. We happened to find him in Cece's office where we record. Oh, speaking of Cece, where is Cece?
Where's Cece?
Where is Cece? Cece is right there. She is unfortunately unable to be with us this evening, and so we have her right there. We'll definitely be getting her opinions throughout the evening, right, Cece?
That's very insightful, Cece.
Right,
I
good,
appreciate
good,
that.
good.
That's great, thank you.
All right, so guys, if you noticed, we did not have our normal introduction music because it's live, starting right now with the Jeff Ritchie Experience. Hey,
Oh my goodness!
Hi there.
guys.
Yeah!
Go for it.
Okay. This is called When You're Back in Town.
distraction over here for those of you who are watching. I was trying to go live, and I'm apparently terrible at it. It got my nose, it got the floor, it got Randall's elbow. I just gave up.
Go on the flip side, you're good at being dead.
I'm very good at being bad.
There you go.
Yes, that's what it is. All right, again, this is the Nerd Factor, a library podcast from the Madison County Public Library in Richmond, Kentucky.
What's up, everybody? Hi, I'm Brandon.
I'm April. That's Cece.
Oh, okay.
And then Lucas is over here. Lucas is generally silent, although he is planning to interject at some point if need be.
I'm loving the trademark aviators, dude.
Yeah.
It's becoming a thing.
It's becoming, and Cece's got hers, and I have mine, but Brandon is
Guys.
just not.
This is the second time in a
This
row.
is the second time in a row he's not had his aviators when the rest of us have.
Luckily,
Even Paper Cece has.
the
There we
Ray-Bans
go,
are
there we
just for a
go.
moment. Dude, these are your staple, Robert. I've been admiring this style for years, and that's
I'm
good
sorry,
for
I
real.
said Randall, it's Robert. My bad. I'm not good with
Did
names.
you really do
I
that?
did.
We do also have a Randall.
I know, and I'm very bad about.
Many thanks, sir.
I get my words mixed up. I get my names mixed up.
Well,
Some days I don't know who I
I
am.
got my good points in now.
All right.
Anyway, so.
Yeah, all right.
Right.
Okay, so you guys. All right, so we read your bio that you guys sent us, and
I didn't.
I got some questions for you. So you started this Jeff, you had an accident in 2013.
Yeah, but I cleaned it up.
You cleaned it, well, you know. Let's put it on responsible.
Yes, I had a
And so
very
that's-
severe car accident.
So that's what prompted all of this.
It was approximate cause. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
what got me started, who can really say? But yeah, I had a pretty severe
I should
car
come out
wreck.
here because you're trying to
Yeah,
talk to me and I'm behind
place
people.
where I said
I'm
How's
talking to
that?
all
Is
those
this
people on
better?
Radio Land.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a pretty severe car wreck, and in the process of recovery from that, which took a little while.
Okay.
I was in a wheelchair for a while, I was in rehab center for a while. It's one of those moments when you sort of more than intellectually grasp the reality that you don't know how much time you have.
Yeah.
It becomes a lot more embodied, a lot more visceral. And I had been making music for most of my life at that point, but usually other people's music. But I've
Okay.
been writing my own all this time, And so I thought it would be maybe the only moment I knew I could take to try and focus just on the music I was writing. So that's where the group came out of.
Okay, so for our listeners, we are with the Jeff Ritchie Experience, a local band out of Korea. They're pretty awesome, as you just heard. So guys, could you go around and introduce yourselves? Just so our listeners, because they can, usually you're playing for a live audience who can see you, but this
People
one
look
can't.
reasonably alive.
So, this is Jeff, say hi.
Hi.
And then
Randall Kahn,
Randall Kahn, sorry about that.
sorry. Robert Moore, not Randall, but Robert Moore.
And Mike Garrett.
Okay. And
Honorary
then
band member Brandon McSits-a-lot.
Brandon McSits-a-lot, yeah.
We'll remember that when we're loading out.
Yeah.
Okay, right on.
Okay, so I read something about mud pie.
Oh,
Okay, so we've got to think about food in our with our podcast. And so there was a band named Mud Pie.
Yeah, I'll let Robert.
There was, but yeah, you definitely don't want to eat any mud pies.
Oh no! Well, I mean the chocolate ones; those are fine. But
Those are okay, but our mud pie was spelled differently. It
okay,
was MUDPI,
PI.
as in
So,
the Greek
like-
letter.
Okay. All right.
So I want to say this.
Okay.
Yes, there was a reason too.
Hello again. Mud pie, Robert. You know this. I told you this before. Mud pie was my introduction to Berea. I had never been to Berea, Kentucky, and a friend said, "Hey, come see this band with me." Yeah, and I was like,
And yet you stayed.
I
Wow.
moved like 3 months later.
You actually came back willingly.
I absolutely came back willingly.
Are you sure that was mud pie?
That's what I'm kind of wondering. It's like, was Glenn on?
Glenn was on vocals mainly. It was you and Carol and Glenn, right?
Okay, yeah.
So anyway, it was just I was very taken by you guys, and I was like,
He must have been just more low key than something like that.
Just down music makers, and my gosh, I bet it was 2000.
That was it. It was Music Makers.
Yeah.
Of which Randall is the co-proprietor.
Very cool.
And now
How'd you like that for a segue?
Very excellent segue. We like to do
Might even
this.
be a plug.
Yeah.
And have a cigarette break now, so great.
See, I grew up in Berea, but I'm not native to Berea, but I grew up in Berea. And I've been here since about, well, not been here, I live in Richmond now, but I've been in Madison County since about 3rd grade and actually met my husband that way. It was really interesting. So Randall, you are the only one who's actually native to Berea, and everybody else is a transplant.
That's correct.
Yes, I was born in the hospital.
Okay, at Berea Hospital?
Yes, delivered
Wow.
by the now deceased Mayor Kirby.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
Far out.
The mayor was an
And
OBGYN.
yet you stayed.
Yeah, he was.
He was a general
And yet you
practitioner.
stayed.
Yeah, he was a doctor.
Since the beginning.
So,
Wow. I bet he got lots of votes from.
I'm sure.
I'm as native as you can be.
I don't know.
I brought you into this
I'm
world and
curious
you're
where
going to
you're
vote me
going
out of
with
it.
that.
Votes from babies. All of the registered.
Brought me into the world, I guess. I'll
Infants, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So there have been 2 other band members previously prior. So this is the most recent iteration.
Yeah, it's a little bit like Spinal Tap.
Okay.
I am the new guy.
You are the new
Right, so he's
guy.
going to go up in flames in about a year and a half.
It's all right. Lucas is our new guy. We understand that.
But yeah, we started with a more traditional rock and roll format with 2 guitars, bass, and drums. And then about 2 years into, 2.5 years into that iteration, the guitarist said he wanted to do some other things, and so we recruited a saxophonist, tenor saxophonist, and made 2 records with him. We
Okay.
made 2 records and an EP with our first iteration. And that jazzed things up. My younger son, who's a jazz hound, was raising his hand in affirmation of
Very
version
high
2.0.
thumbs up.
Yeah.
Don't take
Yeah,
it personally.
I've seen some of your videos. You're plugging away at it. It's pretty good.
And then the end of last summer, right before the Spoon Bread Festival, or around the Spoon Bread Festival, which was our last gig with that particular player, he relocated out of state. So we were once again trying to figure out who's going to fill the chair of the solo instrument, who's going to take the melodic element, and
They settled.
They settled. They settled. Okay, so
Not
you're the
true.
Brandon of the group.
Hold on.
No. I don't mean, okay.
well, we've known Randall for a long time.
I don't mean that we settled on Brandon. I
don't think we
mean
settled.
that you're the one who's just kind of like, yeah, they settled for
I
me.
play a really mean harmonica, okay? So let's.
Oh,
let's
really?
get
I don't want you
into
in
the
the band.
podcast.
You need to bring that to the podcast. Okay, so all right. So what about the rest of you guys? Jeff, you said that you've been playing all your life and you've been writing
A
or
lot
most
of
of
it.
your life,
Yeah.
and you're writing a lot of your own music. What about the rest of you? Is this something that you always wanted to do? Have you always been pursuing music?
They always wanted to play with me.
Always wanted to play
Yeah,
guitar?
ever since before I even met him.
Before they
it's
even
like
conceived.
somewhere out there is an Asian studies professor who plays bass and writes his own songs. I just got to
I just know it.
But my aspiration.
That's actually why I first came to Berea in '86, knowing that 20 years later I was gonna. I came from Lexington, Virginia,
Okay.
my mother was a piano teacher.
Okay.
So it was expected that I was going to be a musician. And so I tried it and decided I liked it okay. And eventually got a guitar at some point in high school, kind of focused on that. Came to Berea College in '86, majored in music, focused on my voice because they didn't have a guitar teacher at Berea College then. And then I found out you can't get a job with a music degree.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Actually,
Asian
that's
studies.
Brandon, that's your degree, right?
That is in fact my degree.
Or your original
Really?
degree, yes.
Yes, that is in fact.
No kidding.
Full performance from Morehead State 05, represent.
Represent.
Yeah.
Got you beat by a few years. We kind of knew that. So that's just always enjoyed pretty much any kind of music. Choral music. It's Irish folk. Of course, Grateful Dead is one of my big
Nice,
big
excellent.
things.
Shocking.
Okay, so very quickly, I know we were going to save our nerd factor questions for later, but I have to ask this one on behalf of Cece, unless she wants to ask it for you, for herself.
Go ahead, CC.
Okay, she's still thinking.
Oh,
Beatles or Rolling Stones?
Why is that a question?
Just,
It's not even a question.
well, no, I personally,
Thank you,
yeah.
thank you.
I was gonna say, in what context? Which one would I, toss over my shoulder first, or which one? Would I
Yeah,
prefer?
okay, yeah. Which one would you toss over your shoulder first? All 4 members of the.
Oh, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. They're too heavy.
There's one more extra than Stones.
Yeah,
It's an unfair advantage in this.
Yeah.
Yes, so in that case, the
that's
Beatles,
Stones are
is all
automatically
four of them?
much heavier.
All right. Okay. So, Mike, I grew up with your son Brian, I went to school with him for quite a while, so did my husband. So how did you end up in the, I'm sorry?
I'm sorry for you.
But so how did you end up in this group?
Jeff asked me.
Say the rest.
Repeatedly.
I said, okay. I said, but I kind of thought I was done with this stuff. So if we do this, we can't do it very often. And we have to do it at my house, so I don't have to haul drums all the time.
And here you are.
He said, okay. That worked out pretty well. I've always liked, I guess we played with each other once or twice doing some different things.
Yeah, some faculty pickup games at college.
Yeah. And that was,
I don't know if we want to drag our employer's name into the mud, but two of us work for Berea College.
I don't think it's dragging you into the mud. Maybe slightly soggy, dirt, maybe slightly.
yeah, that was it.
Wet grass.
All right, very cool. All right, and then Randall, because I got it right that time. So what about you? How did you end up here? I mean, I know that you had to step in and, they settled, as you said.
I've been playing music since I was about 8 years old, and I'm not going to tell you how long it's been.
Okay, I won't ask.
It's been a while.
Just making puppets behind you, like holding up fingers.
Mostly bluegrass-oriented music.
Okay,
Bluegrass
I love bluegrass, so that's great.
Played with my family for many years when I was younger, and got into the whole bluegrass scene later on. And I met these guys in the studio. I engineered all of their recordings in the music studio.
Very cool.
So when they needed someone, they gave me a call. And that's how I went up here.
The mayor didn't have anything to do, he wasn't your
You
music
know,
teacher.
he was deceased by then.
By that point, yeah.
I see.
Yeah,
He did not intervene from beyond the grave,
Well,
as far as we know.
all right. Well, I think if you guys want to go ahead and play, do the next bit of your set, that would be great.
Okay.
All right.
Well, this is as good a segue as any, I guess. One of the reasons that we recruited Randall to tell us a slightly different version of that story is that we knew that he would contribute different kinds of instrumental flavors than we had heretofore had. So we had started off with electric guitar, filling that role, having tenor saxophone, occasionally alto sax, and now we have banjo. Later on we'll hear this sort of lap steel type instrument here, which he can tell you about later. And those are both sounds that we just didn't have in the band before, and so they're new colors. And so every time somebody joins the band, I start writing in a slightly different way to sort of accommodate, what that sounds like. So the next couple of songs are really built around what Remo can do on the banjo, as was the first tune that came in around that time as well.
Sounds great. So what two songs are you guys going to play for us this time?
We're going to play one song that, like the one we played earlier, is on our new album.
Excellent. Which is available for purchase over here.
It is. It's also on iTunes, Spotify, CD Baby, and Amazon.com. But the first of those songs is called Life Song, and then / Icarus. So it's really two songs sort of merged together in a kind of prog rock kind of way, but with banjos. And then the second one we haven't recorded yet. We might record it later this month. It's a new one. And I'm sure it'll be part of whatever the next project is. And it's called Caroline, as in North Carolina, South Carolina.
Ah, very cool. All right, well, have at it.
All right, Robert starts this one off.
Yeah.
Thank
so sing. Let it ring. This is your life song, so sing.
They're missing CC, you know. We're all making
Yeah, it throws everything off. Oh, wow.
I feel famous.
Yeah, the photo shoot going on is pretty great. I mean, I really enjoyed it. You guys are here on
Pay them hot dogs.
There's a lot of PR.
No, it really is. I mean, we're doing things, and we've got it's being filmed over there. I think the battery might have died on the camera.
Real talk.
I think, well, I don't know. I don't know.
We do have one more for you.
Okay, excellent.
If you still want to do that.
Yes, no, please,
Okay.
please. Sorry.
Well-
I get ahead of myself. I get excited.
No, not at all. We had grand notions of a cast of thousands instead of the committed few that we have here, which we very much appreciate. John Lennon once said that. You know, I'd much rather play to a few people who are really into it than
Hey,
thousands who could
the
care less.
podcast reaches all across the world, so
Well, there you
even though
go.
they're not here, they'll be hearing it.
But it actually might still just be a few.
Yeah, they just like to listen
One
to
in
it.
every 3 or 4 countries.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they just like to listen to it a lot.
There's one
Tuning in tonight.
lonely Scotsman who's like, curse me, kids, I love the Nerd Factor. I don't know.
Right.
That's exactly what
He's
you're
the only
saying.
guy.
So we can try this, but I'm not sure how it's going to work. I had this grand notion of teaching you guys to sing a little bit.
Go for it.
Very, very simple chorus to this song. It only has one word. Caroline. Caroline, like sweet Caroline.
Is what not a word?
Whoa, whoa is nonverbal communication, right? We're just making noises, but okay. Caroline and whoa.
Okay.
Whoa, Caroline.
I
So,
suppose it depends on context.
so we're going to start it. We don't really want you to sing that, but once we get back into the song and everybody's playing, when it comes around, maybe you can join us. So this is how it goes. So everyone, ready? Turn to page 29 of your hymnals.
Wait, which hymnal?
The blue hymnal. No, okay, the blue hymnal. So here we go. It's like this. I'll just give you my one. Caroline. Do that after me. Caroline. Then you drop down 1.5 steps. Caroline. Caroline. Then you go up. Whoa. Let's do it together. Whoa. And then you go all the way back down to the octave of the whoa. Caroline. So it's whoa. let's see what we can do with that. But we'll start it off here.
Ready to go?
Don't forget temperature.
You got it. About the same time, all right? Caroline, Caroline, whoa, Caroline, 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 whoa, Caroline. Golden Not sure it's gonna come across in the
Hey, new
radio.
latecomer! Hi, that's my husband. Let me call you out. Hi, honey. All right, wow, that was fantastic. That was really, really wonderful. I'm not acting, well, I mean,
Thanks.
I'm not surprised, I'm just excited. It sounded like I was just.
Good save.
They're like,
Yeah,
wow,
I'm good
you
with that.
guys are a
No,
really good
that was perfectly great. No.
Who'd have thunk it? You're right.
Okay, so now for the very fun portion of our interview where we interview. Yeah, duh. That's what we're doing. We're interviewing. Good Lord.
Not me, I'm antagonizing.
You're antagonizing? I'm being my own antagonist,
This
I
is
guess.
the Nerdy Inquisition. Oh, we should call it that.
The one with the nerdy.
No one expects the Nerdy Inquisition.
I'm sorry. You need to repeat that really
Yes, please,
quickly.
into the microphone this time.
Yes, and it reaches. All right, do that again.
No one expects the Nerdy Inquisition.
Oh, dude.
Okay,
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
We were there for the.
all right. That soundbite's gonna be used all the rest of this season. Oh boy.
I think this is last episode.
Well, it doesn't air.
It is
for
now.
Highly likely. Yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh, so what we do at this point is usually in an interview, when we're interviewing people, because that's what this is, good Lord, April. We ask you our standard nerd factor questions. Number one of which being, do you know what a pork knuckle is?
Say that again?
Do you know what a pork knuckle
What is a
I
pork
don't know, but if you antagonize us, I'm gonna give you one. I have no idea.
We didn't either.
Unless it's something that's like in a jar in a country store.
So
Or
like
You know-
pickle pig's feet?
It's along those lines. Apparently it's like the ankle
never heard it
or
called that.
something, and they roast them, I don't know.
Randall here knows.
We didn't,
Yes,
oh, you know!
It's the bottom leg of the pig, you know, the bottom part of the leg, the knuckle joint.
See, yeah. Okay, see, we didn't know. Apparently we stumbled across this during episode 4 of our first season, and ever since then it has become a thing.
Follow-up question. What's the difference between a pork knuckle and a ham hock?
The ham hock is a lot higher up on the
It's the
leg.
upper left part of the
Okay. Alright, so when you were referring to your hawk, you were correct. In episode 4, as we were trying to figure out what a pork knuckle was, Brandon was referring to
So I
his
was corrected on my own hawk. Humans have hawks, and it would be
Oh,
right.
okay.
Oh,
This is
Yeah.
yes, I'm afraid so.
Yeah, we do. Some of us more than others.
I had to meet the Jeffrey.
George, be congratulated on your knowledge of cuts of meat.
You didn't know.
Okay. Yeah. I see.
All right, Brandon, you want to ask your first question?
Sure, yeah. So just for the group, this is often where I lead. You will probably come as no surprise, but I'm curious. Who amongst you is a Star Wars person, and who amongst you is a Star Trek person? And if you're neutral, you gotta pick one.
Star Trek.
False dichotomy.
Oh, look at you. Can you elaborate, sir?
Only a Sith thinks that absolute.
Well, there you go. I think you have your answer.
Prepared.
I did kind of give him a spoiler.
Really have no opinion.
Mike likes the Super Friends.
I'm a lot older than all the rest of these guys.
Hop along.
Flash Gordon?
Go Captain America.
He's not pre-war.
Thank you, Mike.
That's what you expect from back
Thank
and
you,
forth.
sir.
All right, Lucas, you want to chime in or do you want to? No? Okay. If you were to be a semi-truck driver, also known as a trucker, what would your handle be?
Ham hock.
Cornbread.
Excellent.
I'd be cornbread.
Cornbread?
Cornbread.
Cornbread, all right.
There's a reason.
Randall?
I can't say that in public.
Oh!
Okay.
Oh, but you can say it over the air? FCC rules? Hello?
We better pass that one.
Okay, sounds good.
He's known as Control Z.
Control Alt Delete might be a good one. What
I'll
about you,
probably have to
Mike?
go by my
Any
name.
thoughts?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Man, I'm really liking tonight, so.
So it would be.
Go blanket. Yeah.
What
Way to be imaginative.
was it?
You go with blanket, and then your rig would be the blanket ship.
Oh.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's.
Permission to board the blanket ship, sir. Let's hear it.
Bunga bunga, you're
Oh, it's
unga bunga.
bunga, because I'm just such a Neanderthal.
Not really, but.
Yes, you did.
All right, Brandon, you're up.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and ask our trademark question. If I may.
Okay, please do.
Gentlemen, this is it came up once on the podcast. Favorite foods came up, and many of us, especially me, got really zealous about it. I'm just that kind of a guy. So the question is.
Well, go ahead and tell them the origin of this question.
Well, you know,
with like how we ended up asking this particular question in this way.
I grew up just really loving food, and of course that hasn't changed. But like really being into food, you know. So my mom would make I think what most people would call scalloped potatoes. I didn't know that term. I didn't learn that term until I was like 30. They called them cheesy potatoes. And I on the podcast just didn't even realize it would be a funny thing or a weird thing. I said I used to say to my mother as a child that if she would fill our bathtub full of her cheesy potatoes, I would happily eat my way out. So, what food, fellas, do you love that much?
What food? If you could have a bathtub full of one food, what would it be?
And eat your way out of it.
Yeah. Right?
It has to be something non-perishable.
Do what?
How long do we have?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can eventually eat my way out of the bathtub of anything, but it'd probably have to be like non-perishable.
Is this a Japanese bathtub or?
I don't know, you know.
I'm
Could be
gonna
one
go
of those big
Japanese
hot
one, very
tubs.
deep.
Nice.
I don't know. I'm a big fan of Hoppin' John.
Okay.
We eat at New Year's.
All right.
Rice and pig fat and black-eyed peas. So I've never gone to New Year's without eating it.
Okay.
That's what we do where I'm from. And I like it pretty well.
Okay, so a bathtub full of Hoppin' John. Okay.
Where I grew up, it wasn't uncommon to have Hoppin' John sandwiches a few days after New Year. Just kind of like a little more carb than you probably need. But
That's like, wow, that's a lot of carbs.
it's next level.
Yeah, that's intense.
If you put some Frank's hot sauce on that, I'll have a sandwich all day. All day.
Well, I've never met food that I didn't like except for cottage cheese.
So not cottage cheese.
Not cottage cheese.
Okay.
But if I had to eat my way out of a bathtub, I would probably have to go with Doritos and bean dip.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Lock that back door, man.
That is great. So we decided, last season we had Mark with us who was the kind of the genius behind all of this. And so we decided, and he actually agreed that his bathtub food would be actually Doritos and cheese dip.
Yep.
So you are right on the mark.
That's close.
Yeah.
Yes, pretty close.
I could go with the cheese too, but prefer the bean.
You, Robert.
I've always maintained that my favorite food is whatever was just served to me.
Okay.
Yeah, like any food that I do not have to prepare myself is my favorite. But a bathtub full of it, I'm kind of in a similar tub to Randall there. I like Doritos, but I would prefer to go with beer cheese.
Beer cheese, nice.
Almonds beer cheese, by the way. It's locally made right there at the top of Burnt Ridge Road, and it is based on the original recipe. The original beer cheese recipe.
All right, we got some applause over here.
Just plug for almonds beer cheese there.
We need to work that into an endorsement deal.
Yeah, we do. I'll talk to you next time I see him.
You were mentioning about how it would have to be edible, whatever you had in the bathtub. I'm like, look, everything is edible. It's a matter of commitment.
Oh,
Yeah.
non-perishable.
Not perishable.
Non-perishable.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the things I look for anyway, because I don't have a fridge.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, I can get that. What about you, Mike?
Well, if whiskey is off the table, yes, I would pick Becky's cookover. She makes the best meatloaf in the world.
Meatloaf. Nice.
That would be his wife.
Who's Becky?
Yeah.
My wife.
Really?
Very
You may or may not be listening to this podcast right now.
You may or may not be listening. Oh, Lordy. Okay, let's see. This is a callback to a couple episodes that we spent some time on not episode 1, in season 1. Good Lord, this is what I do. I trip over my tongue. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, how many eclipses or eclipses, whichever way you say it, we still haven't decided, have you seen?
On this planet?
Solar.
What kind of
There are no
European
qualifiers. It's just how many have you seen?
Solar, lunar.
Lunar or solar?
Lunar or solar? There are no qualifiers on it. It's just how many eclipses.
Honestly, the only one I remember is the one that we just had.
The one we just had?
I'm sure there were others that
You
just,
mean the eclipse-ocalypse?
The
Right.
apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
it's the only one I can remember.
I'm specifically remembering 3 solar eclipses. Of course, the other 2 were kind of partials. Well, actually, this last one was kind of partial where I was, because
Past lives don't count, Bart.
What was it?
Past lives don't count.
I've just been a lot more aware throughout my life than some people maybe.
You may be right.
Like I said, I specifically remember 3 solar eclipses, and